Was Alexis about to defeat Yuri? In Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, legacy characters returned with revamped strategies. However, Alexis Rhodes got a so-so showcase of her dueling skills. Unfortunately for her, she was pit against Yuri, one of the main antagonists of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. In fact, Yuri was so confident in their duel, he basically used Ancient Gear Structure Deck to win.
どっちのデッキで倒されたい？
バカにしてるの？使い慣れた自分のデッキで正々堂々かかってきなさい。
自分のじゃなくて優等生デッキでやります。
Keep in mind, he did have to sneak super polymerization in his deck to make sure he secured the win. However, it didn't really look like Yuri tried too hard. This is such a shame as well because Alexis OTK'd 3 duelists just a couple episodes earlier. With her Cyber Angel Ritual deck, were there really no ways of her winning? With any alternative plays, could the outcome of the duel have been different? And while we're at it as well, we might as well analyze the 3v1 duel. But before we do that, we have to talk about today's sponsor, Figgies. 4 new Figgies have arrived. Little Yugi, Exodia the Forbidden One, Summon Skull, and the Karibo Brothers. With these 4 added, look how big the Yu-Gi-Oh! Figgies collection has grown. If you want to start your own collection, then use my discount code at checkout, TGS Anime. And keep in mind, there's not just Yu-Gi-Oh! Figgies. They have a bunch of other franchises too, be that anime or gaming. And guess what? My code works on all of those as well. Complete an entire collection if you fancy, or just pick up 1 or 2. It's completely up to you. Thank you, Figgies, for sponsoring today's episode. Now, let's jump into the duels. The Battle Royale begins, and Alexis goes first. She draws, and her opening hand consists of Etwell Cyber, Cyber Angel Prima, Cyber Angel Vrash, and 3 mysterious cards. Alexis summons her Etwell Cyber to the field and then sets a mysterious card face down and ends her turn. Right, so the 2 mysterious cards in her hand and the 1 mysterious face down card on the field, never gonna be used, never be seen, we have no idea what they are. She doesn't even use the face down card, so I actually have no idea what the set card would be. I'm assuming it's a trap, but Cyber Angels don't have any in-archetype trap cards, so it must be something generic or something else. They do have a quick play spell, this card right here, but this came out after the anime series, so most likely this doesn't exist at this point, so I'll leave it all to you. What set card is on the field? Let me know in the comment section below. It's fodder enemy number 1's turn, and the pre-anti-penultimate turn of the duel. He draws. His opening hand consists of Armor K9 Cannon Boxer, Armor K9 Bullcopter, Polymerization, and 3 mysterious cards. He summons Armor K9 Cannon Boxer to the field. When summoned, its effect summons an Armor K9 monster in the hand that has a lower level than itself. He summons the level 2 Armor K9 Bullcopter. When Bullcopter is special summoned to the field, its effect activates, which lets him add Polymerization from the deck straight to the hand. He adds Polymerization and then activates it immediately, fusing Cannon Boxer and Bullcopter on the field to make full K9 Bull Fortress. He activates its effect by sending cards with fusion or polymerization in his hand to the grave. This monster gains 1000 attack for each. He discards his second copy of polymerization to increase its attack to 3000. Unable to attack until we get back to Alexis's turn due to it being a battle royale, fodder enemy number 1 ends his turn. Shall I tell you how you know it's a fodder enemy duel just to hype up one of the legacy characters? Well, you're gonna hear me say a lot of the same things. Here we go. It's fodder enemy number 2's turn and the anti-penultimate turn of the duel. He draws. His opening hand consists, oh god, here we go, Armor K9 Cannon Boxer, Armor K9 Bullcopter, Polymerization, Refusion, and 2 mysterious cards. He summons Armor K9 Cannon Boxer. When summoned, its effect summons an Armor K9 in his hand with a lower level than itself. He summons the level 2 Armor K9 Bullcopter. Since Bullcopter was special summoned, its effect activates, letting him add a Polymerization from his deck straight to his hand. He adds Polymerization and then immediately activates it, fusing his Cannon Boxer and Bullcopter on the field together to make full Armor K9 Bull Fortress. He activates its effect. He sends Polymerization and Refusion to the grave to increase Bull Fortress' attack by 2000. Unable to attack until we get back to Alexis's turn, fodder enemy number 2 ends his turn. Now, we've all just had a case of deja vu there, but have you ever had deja vu twice? It's fodder enemy number 3's turn, and the penultimate turn of the duel. He draws. His opening hand consists, get ready, Armor Canine Cannon Boxer, Armor Canine Bull Copter, Polymerization, Refusion, Fusion Recovery, and Fusion Reserve. He summons Armor Canine Cannon Boxer. When summoned, its effect summons an Armor Canine in his hand with a lower level than itself. He summons his level 2 Armor Canine Bull Copter. Since this card was special summoned, its effect activates, which lets him add Polymerization from his deck straight to his hand. He adds Polymerization and immediately activates it, fusing his Cannon Boxer and Bull Copter together to make full Armor Canine Bull Fortress. He activates its effect. He sends Polymerization, Refusion, Fusion Recovery, and Fusion Reserve from his hand to the graveyard to increase the attack of Bull Fortress by 4,000. Unable to attack until we get back to Alexis' turn, fodder enemy number 3 ends his turn. What? So it's the same turn 3 times in a row, but with incrementally better discards to make their monsters more powerful. But note, there's absolutely no protection on these fields, so let's see how it goes. It's Alexis' turn, and the final turn of the duel. She draws and gets Machine Angel Ritual. She activates it immediately. This ritual spell is used to summon any Cyber Angel Ritual monster. She tributes her level 4 Etwell Cyber on the field, along with her level 6 Cyber Prima in her hand, to summon the level 10 Cyber Angel Vrash. Vrash's on-summon effect activates. It destroys all fusion monsters the opponent controls and then inflicts 1,000 damage to the owner for each one destroys. Then this monster can attack this turn equal to the number of monsters it destroyed by this effect. All 3 Bull Fortresses are destroyed. Each fodder enemy takes 1,000 damage. Alexis moves into a battle phase and uses Cyber Angel Vrash's 3 attacks to attack each one of them directly. And just like that, Alexis wins the duel. Now, very obviously, there was no alternative plays that anyone could have done with that they would have known logically to do. They played the best possible duel they could with what they had, and unfortunately, it was lacking. And fun fact, even if the fodder enemies would have gone first, so they would have been the first ones allowed to attack, they still probably would have lost because they would have made their ultimate fusion boards. We go to Alexis' turn, she just does the play she does anyway, it wipes their boards. One of the fodder enemies has no cards in his hand now. The second one has 1 card in his hand, I think, and the last one has 3 mysterious cards. Don't know what those are, but then they still need to get over a 3,000 attack Vrash, and she also has that mysterious set card, plus whatever she draws this turn and those other mysterious cards in hand. Yeah, she's looking pretty safe and sound. Now, there is one way that they could have won, but it is so illogical, you can only know to do this through hindsight. So it's not a misplay, but what should they have done? They should have just passed all their turns. Fodder enemy number 1, end turn, 2, end turn, 3, end turn. We go to Alexis' turn. Most likely she will do the same play because that's a big monster. She can attack directly to one of them, but she won't be able to OTK anyone. We then go back round, then they do their fusion plays, and now Alexis has to withstand 3,000, 4,000, and 6,000 attack onslaught from these 3 monsters each turn. Can she survive this? Well, it all depends on what that face down card is. I personally think she would have, but it's hard to say. But yeah, not a misplay because obviously major hindsight was needed here. Nice clean win, Alexis. Ritual users must be proud. Let's see if she can do it again. The duel begins and Alexis goes first. She draws and her opening hand consists of Machine Angel Absolute Ritual, Cyber Tutubon, 2 copies of Cyber Angel Natasha, Polymerization, and a mysterious card. Alexis starts by activating her Machine Angel Absolute Ritual. This card ritual summons any Cyber Angel Ritual monster by tributing Cyber monsters from the hand or field, or by shuffling them from the grave back into the deck. She tributes her level 5 Cyber Tutubon in order to ritual summon her level 5 Cyber Angel Natasha. She summons it into defense. Due to Cyber Tutubon's effect, since it was used for a ritual summon, its effect allows Alexis to add a ritual spell in the grave back to her hand. She adds back Absolute Ritual. She uses it again, this time returning Cyber Tutubon in the grave back into the deck. She ritual summons a second copy of Cyber Angel Natasha into defense. The Natasha's effects are, when they are targeted for an attack, while you control another cyber monster, you can negate the attack. Once per turn, you can target one face-up monster you control, gain life points equal to half its attack. If this card is in the grave, you can banish one other Cyber Angel monster from your grave, take control of one monster your opponent controls, and then summon this card. Alexis activates both of Natasha's on-field abilities. They target each other, increasing her life points by half of the attack of each other. Alexis gains 1,000 life points. She ends her turn. It's Yuri's turn, and he draws. His opening hand consists of Ancient Gear Golem, Ancient Gear Wyvern, Ancient Gear Fortress, Ancient Gear Catapult, Super Polymerization, and Unfinished Ancient Gear.
ちょっと待ってね。
ちょっと本当に知らないデッキなの？
なるほど。じゃあ多分これだね。
Yuri starts by activating Ancient Gear Fortress. This continuous spell makes it so Ancient Gear monsters can't be targeted or destroyed by opponent's card effects the turn they are summoned. As well, cards and effects can't be activated in response to their summon.
次は。
None of this really matters, as Yuri immediately destroys it with his Ancient Gear Catapult. Catapult can only be activated while he controls no monsters. By destroying one card he controls, he can summon an Ancient Gear monster from his deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. He destroys Ancient Gear Fortress to summon Ancient Gear Gadget. Due to Ancient Gear Fortress's second effect, since it was destroyed, it too summons an Ancient Gear monster, but this time from the hand or grave. Yuri summons Ancient Gear Wyvern from his hand. When Wyvern is summoned, its effect adds an Ancient Gear monster from the deck to the hand. He adds Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. Yuri activates the effect of Ancient Gear Gadget on the field, which allows it to treat itself as either red, yellow, or green gadget. He declares Red Gadget. Yuri tributes his Ancient Gear Wyvern and Ancient Gear Red Gadget to summon Reactor Dragon. Since it was summoned using an Ancient Gear monster, it gains piercing battle damage. As well, since a gadget was used for its summon, it can attack twice per turn. On top of this, Reactor Dragon can also, if it attacks an opponent, they can't use monster, spell, and trap effects until the end of the damage step, and after successfully attacking, it can destroy an opponent's spell or trap card on the field. And so, with all that in mind, Yuri moves into his battle phase and orders Reactor Dragon to attack one of the Cyber Angel Natashas. Natasha's effect would activate here, which would negate the attack, but Reactor Dragon prevents this. The first Natasha is destroyed. Alexis takes piercing battle damage and the first damage of the duel. Reactor Dragon attacks again and destroys the second Natasha. Yuri moves into his main phase 2 and sets Unfinished Ancient Gear face down and ends his turn. Now, this is a fantastic first turn off Yuri, probably one of the best plays he could do with this deck. At first, I thought there is a better play he could have done. In fact, he could have won very cleanly this first turn. What was this play? Well, this is what I thought he could have done. Since we know Fusion Honor students have Chaos Ancient Gear Giant in their extra deck, that would have been the card to push for game with. To do this, he would have needed to activate the continuous spell, then use Catapult to blow it up, summon Ancient Gear Hunting Hound from the deck, and then Wyvern from his hand. Add Ancient Gear Box with Wyvern, use Hunting Hound's first effect to deal 600 burn damage. Then activate Hunting Hound's second effect, which allows it to fuse itself with monsters in the hand and field. Fuse it with Wyvern on the field and Golem and Box in the hand to summon Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. Chaos Ancient Gear Giant can attack every monster once each. It does piercing battle damage and shuts off monsters' effects in the battle phase. So attack both Cyber Angels, that's 7,000 damage. GG, right? Well, no, it turns out that the anime version of Chaos Giant is very, very different from the real world version. Not only does it not have piercing, its fusion materials are actually ridiculous. Instead of any 4 Ancient Gear monsters, it's instead Ancient Gear Hunting Hound, double Ancient Gear Hunting Hound, triple Ancient Gear Hunting Hound, and ultimate Ancient Gear Hunting Hound. That's crazy! Who could realistically summon that in a duel naturally? You've got to make, so 1 Hunting Hound, then 2 Hunting Hounds and Polymerization for the second one, then 3 Hunting Hounds and Polymerization for the third one, and then you also need to use one of those, plus another monster, plus polymerization, and then you need to get it back to the field so that you can use polymerization again to fuse it. That's like 14 different cards, roughly, that you need to use. I don't think my maths was great there, but that's mad. It makes sense why Dennis, when he summoned this monster, used Chaos Ancient Gear Fusion, which cheesed it out. Yeah, it turns out the play that Yuri did was actually one of the best possible plays he could have done, so it's pretty good. I guess it's time we move on to the penultimate turn of the duel. But just before we do, don't forget to subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to 400,000 subscribers, and every little helps. So if you want to watch more of these kinds of videos, then subscribe. And if you're already subscribed and on mobile, hit the hype button. It's back to Alexis, and she draws Fusion Destruction. She activates the effect of one of the Natashas in her graveyard. She banishes another Cyber Angel to summon it back from the grave and take control of an opponent's monster. She banishes the other Natasha to summon it, and then takes control of Yuri's Reactor Dragon. Alexis uses Natasha's effect to increase her life points by half of Reactor Dragon's attack. Alexis enters her battle phase, but before she can declare an attack, Yuri activates his set Unfinished Ancient Gear. This lets him summon an Ancient Gear monster in his hand into defense, ignoring its summoning conditions. The summoned monster's attack and defense are halved, however, it can't be destroyed by a battle this turn. Yuri summons Ancient Gear Golem into defense. Alexis orders Reactor Dragon to attack it twice, dealing piercing battle damage both times. Alexis moves into her main phase 2 and activates her Fusion Destruction continuous spell. By discarding polymerization in her hand, she can look at the opponent's deck and then banish up to 3 cards that have polymerization or fusion in their names. The opponent then takes 300 damage for each card banished. After this, if the opponent activates a polymerization or fusion spell or trap card, this card can negate the activation and destroy it, and then inflict 300 damage to the opponent. Unaware that super polymerization is currently in Yuri's hand and having no way to rip it from his hand since this card only deals with the deck, Alexis looks at his deck and banishes 3 copies of the original polymerization. Yuri takes 900 damage. Alexis ends her turn. Sadly, with the cards that she had in her hand, this is the best that Alexis could have done. She had no ways to actually go for game here. She has 1 mysterious card in her hand. The only way she could have won is if this card was Cyber Tutu. Since it is weaker than the opponent's monsters, it is allowed to attack directly, and that would have been game. But she just probably doesn't have this card in her hand. It's a lot of ifs and buts. But yeah, unfortunately, she couldn't win here. It's Yuri's turn, and the final turn of the duel. He draws and gets Ancient Gear Workshop. He activates it. This lets him add an Ancient Gear monster in his grave to his hand. He adds back Ancient Gear Wyvern. He summons it to the field, and then uses its effect to add Ancient Gear Box from his deck to his hand. He discards it to pay the cost to activate his Super Polymerization Quick Play spell. This card uses monsters on both sides of the fields as fusion materials. Cards and effects cannot be activated in response to this card's activation. This means Alexis's Fusion Destruction can't negate this card's activation. And so, Yuri fuses his Ancient Gear Wyvern, Ancient Gear Golem, and Reactor Dragon on Alexis's side of the field to summon Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. This monster has piercing battle damage, and turns off spells and traps in the battle phase. Yuri enters his battle phase and attacks Cyber Angel Natasha. Unable to negate the attack since Natasha needs another Cyber Angel on the field to use its effects, Alexis's life points drop to 0. Yuri wins the duel. Unfortunately, this is an open and shut case. Alexis had absolutely no ways to win this duel, unfortunately. I do think it's a little bit of a problem of the script writers giving her not a very varied hand. Like, she had 1 play and it wasn't even an offensive play, it was mainly just defensive. Stealing the opponent's monster is pretty cool, but you didn't get to see much of the ritual stuff in this duel, really, and it's kind of a shame. Personally, I would have liked it if Alexis did a little bit more on this duel, getting out more of the Cyber Angel ritual monsters, but unfortunately, that's the best we got. Both of the GX characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 had awful win-loss records. Neither of them beat a named character. Asta did get a draw against Yugioh, which is kind of something, but then he lost everything else. Alexis beat some no-name characters. She did OTK them, I guess that's kind of cool, but then she lost to Yuri, who is a big bad, so it's a tough one to scale. So yeah, let me know what you think about Alexis in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 series. What did you think of this duel? Other than that though, check out one of these videos if you fancy. Don't forget to subscribe. It would really, really appreciate it. I really want to get to that 400,000 and I'm really excited to. So yeah, thank you all for watching, everybody.